You see that black boy over there running scared, his old man in a bottle. He done quit his 9 to 5, he drink full time, and now he's living in a bottle. See that black boy over there running scared, his old man got a problem, and it's a bad one. He ain't done pawned off damn near everything. Hey folks, welcome to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. Thanks for tuning in. We certainly appreciate you out there. We have a rip-roaring great show today. Gonna have okay, Gil. We're gonna have a rip-roaring great show today. We got Mr. Dan Perkins coming on with us. Dan is an author, the author of the trilogy, 3 books called Trilogy of the Brotherhood of the Red Nile. It's about terrorism, and all his books have been banned, believe it or not, by Facebook. So here he can't use a platform, a major platform, to market his books or communicate with people or to have his audience follow him. Here's a guy who wrote a book, and he had over 600,000 responses. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing story. Hey, Dan. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, please join us.
I'm here.
Please join us. And I'm trying to figure out where that sound's coming from, but go ahead.
Not me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. What happened was that I was using Facebook to create a marketing campaign initially for my second children's book called Why Can't Granny Remember Me? And it's a book on teaching children 9 to 12 years of age about dementia. And I started that book came out literally 2 days before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Started a campaign right after the first of the year. And in less than 2 months, I got 183,000 page views on that book. Then the next book in the terrorism series, Ted Baker and Terrorist Gold, it came out between Christmas and New Year's, and I decided I wasn't going to start marketing then. I started marketing after the first of the year. And in about 8 weeks, it got about 693,000 page views. On Easter Sunday morning, April the 1st, I guess it was an April Fool joke on me, the book of the trilogy book, I brought out in a special offer on audio. So you buy one flash memory stick, get all 3 books, put it in your car and listen to it, or your stereo, whatever you want to do.
Right. And
I started on Easter Sunday morning, and by the 16th of April, 2 weeks later, 569,000 page views, over 120,000 click-throughs,
mm-hmm.
which was, everybody that I talked to said that's amazing that you got that much. It's spectacular. I mean, nobody could believe the numbers. 17th of April, I got a notice from Facebook that they were banning my advertising for my books.
Mm-hmm.
And
did they give you a reason why?
Zuckerberg had because they believe it was not in compliance with their stated policies. And say what policies?
Exactly.
Their policies. And so Zuckerberg, when he was testifying before the Senate, both the House and the Senate, said that they had put in a new appeal policy so that people who were banned would have an opportunity to appeal the process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he may have said that before Congress, but I didn't get any appeal process. And and so I basically not cannot use Facebook to market my books, to communicate, have a blog, none of that stuff. And I'm really disappointed more than anything else, Charles. I'm disappointed that the memory book, Why Can't Grammy Remember Me, which got such rave reviews and was helping thousands and thousands of children understand what was going on with dementia, which is a growing, dramatic problem in this country,
Mhm.
are not going to be able to see it. Not going to be able to see it because there really isn't another place to go. There is no alternative to Facebook. So if you're shut out of Facebook, you've been shut out of a major source to
Yeah.
be able to talk to people and tell people stories or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You were mentioning earlier when we were offline that you felt you were in a Facebook jail, or somebody had referred to you as being in a Facebook jail,
That's right.
and I think that's a
When I
very
first
appropriate.
released a story about it,
I think it's a very.
that's what reporter called me and said you're in Facebook jail,
I
and I
think
hadn't
that's
thought about it, but
that's a
it is.
very, but it's a very appropriate analogy because I've been at 1,300 likes for the last 5 years. I mean, I don't get any more. I don't get any less. I change audiences.
Mm-hmm.
I go out solicit audiences, and I know there are more people listening to me because whenever I'm not on the air, the network gets calls and says, "What happened to Charles Butler? Where's Charles Butler? Why isn't he on today? How come you didn't run a replay?" And so we know the people are out there listening. So and
Mm-hmm.
our numbers show that because of how we're tracked on the internet. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, my friend,
Yeah.
what are we going to do about it? How can we do anything about this? But because we're going to wrap this up, because I got some questions I want to ask you before you ask me some.
Okay.
Hey,
No, I
yeah, how do we plan to attack this? Go ahead.
uh, I'm on a mission to try and write as many commentaries and talk to as many people as I can on radio and TV about what happened with me, and to try and find other people who've had similar experiences. But at some point in time, we have to. There's a new decree that Facebook has put out, and that is on the 25th of May, the Irish people are going to go to the polls and vote on an amendment to their constitution that will allow legalized abortion. Facebook has now said that they're going to ban, their words, not mine, they're going to ban all advertising on the Irish question until after the election. And but they didn't say whether they're going to ban people who are opposed to it or people who's for it. They just said they were going to ban. So they're going to be the arbiter as to what should get on the air and what shouldn't get on the air as far as the Facebook page. More scary than that, Charles, is they also went on to say they hope to expand their logarithm to bring this same kind of censorship all over the world.
Well, when you have a young man who thinks that Facebook is bigger than Ginsburg, um, not Ginsburg, who invented the printing press? Gutenberg, I think it's Gutenberg.
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg. I guess Gutenberg is in my
Mm-hmm.
mind. Ginsburg came through my lips, but anyway, Gutenberg. I mean, how big an ego is that? This guy thinks that Facebook is bigger and is more important than the printing press. Do you realize that
Mm-hmm.
when we got the printing press, that was the first time that people could own Bibles and own books and things like that. And this guy is saying, "Well, I'm bigger than Gutenberg. The Facebook is bigger than the printing press. We have more impact around the world than than Gutenberg." That I have, this is the same young man who thinks that foreign workers and foreign people are smarter than Americans. When I see him, I'm gonna slap him. So look, you just send me some bail money, okay, and money for an attorney, because I am going to try to slap the taste out of uh, 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 Zuckerberg's mouth. He's a very disrespectful little punk. And, he's probably one of those kids who grew up and never had a fight, but that's what he looks like. But, and this is the thing about this Zuckerberg guy. Everybody tends to forget that he stole the idea. He ended up paying the two brothers 30 million apiece or something that he stole the idea from. It's just amazing to
Yeah,
me
that's
that these people get away with. It's just like the AG, the AG up in New York. He's going after Trump. He's going after Harvey Weinstein. He's charging Harvey Weinstein with abusing women, and he is beating the crap. Harvey Weinstein didn't beat the crap out of any women. He may have had a little sex, and he may have forcibly taken some sex and coerced sex and said, well, I'll try to get you an interview or a casting shot for a little sex for a blowjob. But, he didn't beat any women. This guy put women in the hospital. And then they said, well, then, you had the people on CNN who says, well, it's alleged. And one of the ladies had the courage to say, well, no, it may have been alleged, but several of the women produced papers that they went to the hospital and had to be treated by a doctor. It was so severe. And that shut the guy right up. The liberal Democrat who was defending, Schuttenberger, whatever his name is. But it's a double standard. It's
Zuckerberg.
always, it's always a double standard.
Yeah,
And
yes, I agree. It's a double standard,
And the thing that that bothers me, one of the things that bothers me, Charles, is that they're using this logarithm, but the logarithm was created by people, and he said before Congress when he testified that he and his company is in Silicon Valley, and it's extremely left-leaning. So I'm saying in a piece that I'm writing, how can if it's so far left, how is it possible that you could have a person like him and his company decide what's going to happen without having their political influence of their far left leanings influence their judgments and their decisions?
well, you're not. That's the whole point.
And it does.
That's the whole point. But when you're talking about left leaning, I attended the University of Michigan, and the University of Michigan is being sued because it has biased reporting teams. They have teams who go out and investigate bias. Man, when I was at Michigan, this is in the 70s, in the age of right after the free love age, man. The people were still free loving up there and doing their thing. And I tell you, I enjoyed it, but it was still a fairly racist environment. There are very few black kids on campus, and you got hassle at times, but we didn't, the black guys who were up there, we didn't turn the other cheek. We punched people out. You called me the N-word. I didn't, cry or ignore you. I went up and punched your effing lights out. And, and then we were okay, It's just amazing to me. It really is. It's amazing to me how fragile these children are, these people. What is the world coming to? But I run into millennials all the time who criticize themselves and criticize their age group and are very serious about America. And something that I see out there, and I know you probably see it too, Dan, is that not all millennials are liberal. These kids aren't liberal. They're about making a better world. They're about doing the right thing. They want to see things be righted. And even though they have some twists and they've been turned, it's like you and I haven't talked since the Boy Scouts announced that they're going to accept Girl Scouts. And the Mormon Church, bless the Mormon Church, bless the morality of these people. They said, guess what? We had some problems with the gay scout leaders because we're not letting gay scout leaders lead our troops. They pulled out of the Boy Scouts after 100 years of affiliation. And so they're taking 20%. Right. They're taking 20% of the Boy Scout membership with them. So they're taking roughly about 500,000 scouts with them out of the 2.3 million that are out there. And the scouts somehow think that, you know, it's okay to mix boys and girls together. It's not.
See, here's the question I would ask you, because I've been scanning the internet, cannot find the answer to this question.
What's that? This is my question, folks. This is my Dan Perkins question of the segment. Hey, Dan, ask the question. Give me. We got 40 seconds here before we go to break. So go ahead.
Okay. Can boys join the Girl Scouts?
No.
Well, how do you know that?
Because the Girl Scouts issued a statement that said they're not changing their structure. I can send you the article.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, especially there's a lady here. Just look up Illinois Girl Scouts, regional Girl Scouts. She was very clear that they are not admitting boys. But we'll be right back.
You said regional.
I said regional. I said regional because it is regional. But nationally, it's the same policy. They're not admitting boys. They're very clear that they want to maintain a girls' environment. Okay? We'll be right back, man. We'll be right back.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
Concern to every single American. Now, we've been hearing all these stories about sanctuary cities.
You can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop.
Hi, you want to end those expensive cable bills for good? At VIP TV, we offer unlimited HD quality streaming of over 900 channels on 5 devices at the same time for $39 a month on a pay-as-you-go basis. You can watch it on your big TV with Amazon Fire Stick or TV, Roku, Comcast, Android, gaming consoles, as well as laptops and tablets. You can use an HDMI cable to connect PC to the TV or smart TV via Wi-Fi. Once you've enjoyed the benefits of VIP TV, you can sign up for the service as a customer or business partner with a customized website, $39 or $59 a month. Visit orderviptv.com/the reality check. That's orderviptv.com/the reality check. Any questions, just email us at therealitycheckviptv@gmail.com. Stop wasting time and money and sign up now. Cancel cable for good.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with its patented interlocking fill. My Pillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. My Pillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. My Pillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of 1. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code Red State. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code Red State. Put sleepless nights behind you with My Pillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the reality check with Charles Butler. I'm here with Mr. Dan Perkins, and Dan asked me a question that I was trying to answer before we went to break, and that is, are Girl Scouts taking Boy Scouts? And from everything that I've read, they've said no, they're not taking boys in the Girl Scouts. Not going to happen. They want to maintain their environment, and I don't blame them. I think they should.
So how is then if the Girl Scouts says they're not taking boys, how is that not sexual discrimination?
Well, it is, but I mean,
if the Boy Scouts are taking girls.
I mean, it is. It is, but this is the thing that we have to deal with in this country. And I've talked about this before. We have situations where, how can I say this? You have women who want to invade men's clubs, men only clubs, but they want their own clubs. Okay, women only clubs. And oh, no, guys can't come into our clubs because you upset the chemistry when we have a male in our club. Here in Chicago, a guy did what I was threatening to do. And I don't know if he got it from listening to my show or what, but there was a women's athletic club, health club, right near downtown, which was right near his home, his condo. And he tried to join it. They told him he couldn't join because he was a guy, and he sued them. And they had to let him in. And they were pissed. They were hostile toward this guy. You know, they would, if he left his gear out, first there was no place for him because they didn't have a men's locker room because it was an all women's facility. But women are very quick to try to insert themselves into male environments. And I think that it impedes men. We have a lot of men out here today, and let's talk about this for a second, because John McCain, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan are three Republicans who I detest. To me, they're the epitome of weakness. They're the epitome of what's wrong with men in this country. They try to walk that line between being a champion of women and study weakening men. They are weak men. Like John McCain not supporting Haspell because he felt somehow that she shouldn't lead the CIA. I think she's probably the most qualified person that we've had come forth, a nominee that we've had come forth to lead the CIA ever in the last 50 years. I'm serious. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
So then you have this. So then you have Camilla Harris. Now I want you to listen to Camilla Harris real quick. I mean, this chick comes out and
good evening from New York. I'm Chris.
Sorry, and this is what Camilla Harris had the nerve to try to jam Ms. Haspell up by questioning her morality. And
let's just be clear, this hearing
and so she, of course, this thing, she tries to tell the hearing why they're there.
This hearing is about your suitability to be the director of the CIA, and in our responsibility to participate in choosing who will be the next director of the CIA. The mission that we have now includes understanding that who we choose will be a signal to the men and women of the agency, to the American people, and to our neighbors around the world about our values as Americans on critical issues that range from our adherence to a rule of law, to what we prioritize in terms of professional accountability and what we prioritize in terms of our moral authority as Americans and as a country. So one question I've not heard you answer is, do you believe that the previous interrogation techniques were immoral?
Can you believe that question, Dan?
Unbelievable.
Dan,
Yeah,
okay,
No,
she asked this question knowing all the time. This is Camilla Harris. This is why I detest liberals, and I detest Black liberals like Camilla Harris. She knows that at the time this woman committed what they call, what do they call it? Enhanced interrogation, torture. First of all, The definition, see, these liberals always try to, or have, I should say, not try to, they've changed the definition of everything. So now sexual assault means anything from telling a woman that she has a big butt and it looks good to raping a woman. It used to mean when someone was sexually assaulted, they were raped. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
so you have Kamala Harris, who's asking this woman who everybody admits was a low level worker bee at the time of the enhanced interrogation program, that she had nothing to. Do you think it was morally right? It got information. And you know the other thing, so they changed the definitions, and you have all these people who are do nothing, weak, pathetic people listening to the Manchurian candidate John McCain, who was brainwashed in North Vietnam by the North Koreans and the Chinese. The guy is totally messed up. That's why I'm not going to say that about him. But bottom line is, I'm glad to see John going. I'm sorry he's going the way that he's going. I wish they had not elected him, but I am glad to see him go. And I want to see others go, like Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, and some of these other rhinos who are up here. But Dan, what kind of question is that? You're going to question my morality? She goes on, it's a yes or no question, is what she says. I was outraged.
And how did she answer the question?
This is how she answered. Let's play it.
Senator, I believe that CIA officers to whom you referred.
It's a yes or no answer. Do you believe the previous interrogation techniques were immoral? I'm not asking, do you believe they were legal? I'm asking, do you believe they were immoral?
Senator, I believe that CIA did extraordinary work to prevent another attack on this country, given the legal tools that we were authorized to use.
Please answer yes or no. Do you believe in hindsight that those techniques were immoral?
Senator, what I believe sitting here today is that I support the higher moral standard we have decided to hold ourselves to.
Can you please answer the question?
Isn't that amazing? The lady answered the question. So she's saying to the future head of the CIA that we had an immoral organization that committed torture. It's the same argument, and it's the same way that they twist immorality of the LGBT community and what they do. It's the same way that they twist the assault weapon issue. It has been documented, and people talk about this all the time. An AR-15 is not an assault rifle 15. It stands for Armalite 15, and by any definition, it is not an assault weapon. And they keep labeling the AR-15 as an assault rifle. They label it that way in legislation. They label it that way wherever they can. And the American people buy off on it because they're so stupid. What did the guy say who helped Obama? Who helped Obama push through Obamacare? He said the American people are stupid. I mean, he's on tape saying it's not what I said. Here, Kamala Harris. See, Kamala Harris thinks that she's going to run for president. She thinks that she's going to be the first woman president. She doesn't understand that she is building enemies out here that are very silent. But I was very public about my stance, and I'm going to skip this. We're going to skip this commercial break. I was very public about my stance on her comments to Miss Haspell, who is, it is not the fact that she's a woman, as far as I'm concerned. It's the fact that looking at this woman, Vitae, her resume, her experience, her moral compass, her demeanor, that she is more than qualified to be the CIA director. It gives me chill bumps just talking about this woman, because I know that's why I love the fact that Trump is elected, because we have real strong people leading the country. We don't have a black, and we don't have a woman, and we don't have a white woman and a black woman, and we have people who are competent, except for Elizabeth Chow. That's the weakest nominee they got in that cabinet, as far as I'm concerned. But go ahead, Dan.
She happens to be married to the majority leader of the Senate. So,
well, he may as well
good
be
for
the
them,
minority leader for
supposedly.
what he does. He may as well. You had it right the first time. I mean, that was a Freudian slip, I'm sure, but it was accurate.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I have not had an opportunity because I've been busy doing a lot of other things. How has the hearing gone?
Well, mention the
She's going to be confirmed or not?
oh yeah, she's going to be confirmed. The senator, but everybody's trying to make their bones like Mark Warner from Virginia. He said the same thing. He's a lying SOB. And Mark Warner, like others in his vein, who are trying to castigate this woman and trying to make America weak. Do you think for one iota that Hillary Clinton could have gotten Kim Jong-un to the negotiating table? What those, she would have had all those little boys and little girls in her administration like Barack Obama did. And all they would have said was, well, you know, we don't want to piss off Kim Jong-un, so maybe we should send them food. Maybe we should send them money. You know, we don't want to piss them off. I mean, Trump was like, piss off Rocket Man? Oh, definitely. I intend to do more than piss him off. Okay. as Mad Dog Mattis said, we will bomb you into obliteration, into ashes. That's what the U.S. Secretary of Defense. We will. I mean, you haven't heard that kind of talk since World War II, man.
No. And I think that's the ticking bomb in the heads of the Democrats
Is what?
Is getting closer, huh?
Is what? The ticking bomb is what?
The ticking bomb and is coming up to the ring time because we now know that the meeting between Kim and Donald Trump is going to take place on June the 12th in Singapore, in China.
But Singapore is in Indonesia.
Singapore
is in Indonesia.
No.
Isn't
Singapore is in China.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an old British crown colony.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that Singapore was separate from China. Like Hong Kong was part of China.
Not anymore. It used to be.
Yeah, Singapore is China. I mean, Hong Kong is China.
Yes.
Yeah, Hong Kong is China.
And so is Singapore. Anyway, so that's where they're going to meet.
No. I've been. Wait a minute. Let's just go back to Singapore. Singapore is an independent nation. I've been to Singapore. They have their own money, everything. They're totally different. They're down there, down there by Indonesia. That's right before you get to Indonesia. Anyway, go ahead, my friend.
Okay.
It's a country, but it's a separate country. They have their own flag. No, they have their own flag, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. Yeah, they have their own flag, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. But it's an interesting. See, remember when they caned that boy, that spray painted some cars or some buildings or something? The country of Singapore did that. Yeah, that was they had, like, you can't chew gum in Singapore. I remember them telling us that you can't chew gum in public in Singapore because it's against the law because they don't want you putting gum on the street. You know, you can't, if you spit gum on the street, you can be jailed. I mean, they got a whole bunch of crazy rules in Singapore. That's why I know it's not part of China. Anyway.
Okay. Maybe I was thinking of something.
Maybe you're thinking of Hong Kong. Hong Kong is definitely China.
Yeah. And it was a British colony.
It was a British colony, no question, until 1998, 89. Because I went over there just before they switched.
Okay, so what's happening is that they're going to meet. Trump is hopeful that they will come up with a verifiable accord. And again, this is the thing that didn't get much play out of Mr. Trump's announcement on Iran.
Right.
So he said in his announcement that they're going to take 90 days before they begin the implementation. And I said before he made his announcement, the day before, that my guess is what he's going to do is going to say, we're going to not renew our relationship with this accord, but I'm going to give 90 days,
60 to 90 days for the European negotiators to see if they can renegotiate this deal with Iran to the point that we could support it.
Mm-hmm.
And that got glossed over. But so that he said, I'm willing to have the parties who were involved to try and renegotiate. If they are not successful, then we'll put in the severe economic sanctions. My point is that the Democrats' ticking time bomb in their head's going to explode of the pressure
Mm-hmm.
of Kim meeting with the president on June the 12th,
Mm-hmm.
and the president basically saying to the world, okay, it's bad, it needs to be fixed, you guys get 90 days to try and do it. If you don't do it, we're going to give them hell and fury. And so, again, the Democrats don't know what to do. And it's all because Mr. Trump says, enough. We've kicked this can down the road too many times. Too
Right.
many people have tried and not really committed to do something about the problem. I'm going to do something about the problem. And
Okay.
so when you heard the
Okay.
Democrats respond to the president say, I'm not going to support the accord anymore. Oh, Kim will never come to the table. It's over. He's ruined it. We have no chance. All the leverage goes. Bull crap.
Okay. Hey, look,
They
Frank,
don't know what they're talking about.
my friend Frank Vernuccio is out here. I'd forgotten he was calling in. Frank, how are you, my friend? Hello?
Charles?
Yeah. Frank, Dan is
Charles,
on.
how are you?
I'm good. Dan's on the line. We were just talking about Trump and his coup with North Korea and how these Democrats on the Hill are giving Miss Haspell a hard time when she's probably the most qualified CIA director we've had in the last 50 years.
You know, your head has to spin like that little girl in the Exorcist movie when you hear the objection to Gina Haspel because she's, quote, too tough on terrorists. Isn't that what we're supposed to be? You know, you really have to wonder about the mindset of those who are really worried about all that. Can anyone honestly say that they don't want to be tough on terrorists, if being tough on terrorists means no more 9/11s or no more ISIS?
Well, Frank, I don't know.
Clearly, there is a problem in the.
I don't know if you were on the line when we played Camilla Harris asking Ms. Haspel if she thought it was moral to torture people or not.
No, I wasn't on the line for that. But of course, the definition of torture has changed a lot recently, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, waterboarding, for example, is not torture. West Point students, the cadets at West Point, are taught to withstand waterboarding. You know, torture is something totally different.
It
than what
is.
we're saying
You
here.
know,
I guess not giving a four-star meal to an imprisoned terrorist pretty soon is going to be considered torture as well.
That's what Dan and I were talking about earlier. But look, guys, you know, here we are, 18 months into Trump's presidency. He is kicking butt as far as I'm concerned. I love everything the president's done, except his stand on the NFL players, because I don't think he really understood what they were protesting. They weren't protesting because, again, the media gets they co-opted the NFL players, what they were protesting. They weren't protesting vets. They weren't protesting the Constitution. They weren't protesting the flag. They were protesting the fact that they were being hassled by police officers and guns pulled on them because they were driving expensive cars while black. And that message never got out in mainstream media. And I kept telling the NFLPA, in fact, I'm going to meet with one of these guys next month from the NFLPA and say, you guys got to get this message out here. You know, your messaging is all wrong. But
yeah, I think when you start taking stands without explaining what you're taking a stand on, there's always going to be a problem. And I think one of the hassles with the entire NFL situation was that it did seem to a casual observer who doesn't know the background, it certainly seems like an insult to the flag. One of the interpretations, and I think the most important interpretation that most of America saw when they watched the players take a knee, was that they weren't protesting a particular issue like blacks being hassled by police in certain circumstances, but it simply seemed like an overall disrespect to the flag. And frankly, I'm going to put that blame on the players who did it.
Yeah.
You know, if they're going to take a stand, if you're going to take a stand
Mm-hmm.
on an issue, explain yourself before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they did that at all. I don't think it's illegitimate for any observer to see that not as a stand on what may be a legitimate issue, but as an insult to the flag itself.
Right. You know, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Dan, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that we're still way too damn politically correct in this country, and we just won't. I mean, the gentleman just said, you know, that
Frank Vernuccio. He's one of your comrades in arms. In fact, Frank, you should have Dan on your show. Dan, you and Frank, I'm gonna send you each other's contact information, because you guys will have a great time together. And Frank, if you don't know who Dan is, Dan has written a number of books, and one is a trilogy on terrorism. It's a fiction novel called The Brotherhood of the Red Nile. And Dan, for Frank and the audience,
Dan, you and I have been on each other. You have been on my show, I believe. The Vernuccio Novak Report. You were on my show about 2 years ago, I believe.
Okay, all right. Well, I've been on a lot of shows in 2 years, so I apologize. So what I was saying was that this political correctness of definition of torture. I agree that it has changed, but it really has, in my opinion, it hasn't changed to reflect what the other side of the table, the terrorists, what they're doing as it relates to torture.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gotten more humane; they've gotten more abusive. And the idea that we have to change and become more civilized in our torture. I mean, we have a very simple job. We've got to find out who the bad guys are and what they're going to try and do to us. And in my opinion, once we've identified that they're a nasty bad guy, then whatever is necessary to try and figure out what they're trying to do and who they're trying to kill and what they're trying to blow up, I don't care how you do it, it's the right thing to do. And the idea that we want to put constraints on all these people who are trying to save American lives and protect our country, I just think it's insane.
Have we lost, do you think, Dan and Charles, do you think that we've lost the will as a civilization to defend ourselves? You know, it seems so often that whether you're talking to the left in the United States or frankly to most of the government elites in Europe, the concept of survival and the things that you have to do at times to survive just seems beyond their scope of understanding any longer.
Well, let me jump in on that, because I mean, if you look at the world, and I say this with all sincerity, if you look at what's going on in the world at any given time, the United States of America is carrying 90% of the load. You look at Vietnam, you look at the Cold War, you look at the United Nations, you look at any conflict, anything that's going on anywhere in the world, we are there with 90% of the resources, the funding for everybody else. And it's unfair. And Trump has said, hey, NATO, it's unfair. Hey, Germany, you have all this surplus in your government, spend it on your military and pay your dues at NATO. Okay. Okay. So,
by the way, on Germany, it's interesting. A report just came out discussing how the German military exists basically on paper. And I've actually got some specifics. In the German military, only 39 of 128 of their attack planes are actually capable of flying. Their helicopters, only 6 attack helicopters, only 16 of their 72 helicopters actually work. And their tanks, and Germany, of course, known for its production of tanks, less than half of their tanks actually can work. And in their Navy, of their 13 frigates, only 5 are actually capable of putting to sea. Those are incredible statistics and indicate how far or how little Germany, with its robust economy and its extraordinary import-export surplus, is just not doing its fair share at all.
Exactly. Frank, where'd you find that?
The European Security Journal.
Okay. Well, folks, you know, Frank is the editor-in-chief of the New York Analysis of Policy and Government, a think tank located in New York. Now, you know, hey guys, you know, we got a few minutes here, and you know, I'm looking at this thing they were talking about, the blue wave. Remember the blue tsunami? They kept talking about the blue tsunami is coming. And I said, I don't believe that. That's not what I'm hearing out here. I don't hear people talking about voting for Democrats or that they're that angry with Donald Trump. What I hear is that people like what Trump is doing. They like where the country is. I got in a big argument with a Democratic judge here in Chicago at a club. And these people were so repulsed, one, that I was a black Republican. You would have thought that I had, what do you call it, disease? Leprosy, okay? It's like we were talking, we were all friendly, and, you know, and then they started talking about Donald Trump. And I guess the look on my face was like, you know, you talk about my boy, you know, and they lit into me like a rag on with kerosene in it, okay? And they tried to berate me as a black Republican, and I said, wait a minute. The people who need to be berated are black people who are Democrats. Your party, and I started talking about Chicago and how oppressive and offensive and how blacks have been left out of Chicago for the last 100 years, and they've been solid, staunch Democrats. They couldn't argue that point. They couldn't argue anything that I said, right? So I'll beat them down. And then, so they try to attack me, you know, try to attack my intellect. And I'm going, well, I think I'm smarter than both of you. To tell the truth, I've probably forgotten more about history and politics than either one of you. And so when I
Did
see,
you actually say that to them, Charles?
yeah,
Did you say that?
yeah, of course. Because see, my thing, if you listen to some of my old tapes,
that's a great way to have a conversation.
well, if you listen to, well, you know, this is the deal. This is the deal, Dan. See, most black people try to be, what do you call it? Politically correct, and they try to be humble. And when they're attacked, they forgive and they try to stay above. See, my thing was like when I used to be at VON, and Frank knows this because he used to come on my show at VON. People would call in and say, Charles Butler, you're Uncle Tom. The first thing out of my mouth would be, your mama is Uncle Tom. Okay. And they call the owner of the station. Oh, Miss Span Cooper, Charles Butler called my mama Uncle Tom. I just called him Uncle Tom. He'd have to call my mama Uncle Tom. So we put it, and Frank, do you remember when we used to put together those clips on Friday night? We play those and come. God. Oh, that was hilarious. But see, but that's the way you have to, and that's what Trump would do. When these people come at Trump, Trump comes right back at him like little Marco and, you know, Rocket Man. And, you know, I mean, you know, you come at him, he comes back at you.
But you really are indirecttly raising, and I know we've got just a few seconds.
Well, we got about 5 minutes. Yeah, about 5 minutes here.
It's got to, okay. What's got to be the message of today
is,
and every time you have an opportunity, and every time I'm on with you going forward, we have to get people to read Trump's book, Art of the Deal.
Okay.
Because if you want to try and understand how this man thinks and the way he negotiates and everything that he does, I prefer to listen to it on audiobook, but you can read it. see, the problem that the left has is they don't know who this person is. And they've done nothing to try and figure out and understand who he is.
Mhm.
The simplest way to understand the way he operates is to read the damn book.
Okay. Well, let's not give them too much information.
But Dan, I think on top of that, Dan, part of the problem, Dan, is that the left in particular hates to have a discussion in which you're very candid in the discussion, in which you actually state facts, in which you don't pussyfoot around the issues. And the reality of it is that what upsets them about Trump is not just his positions on the issues, but the fact that the guy will have a blunt, honest conversation, the same way that you'd have with a member of your family or a good friend.